You know, it is nice to finally be able to talk to you again after so long.
Not fool yourself into believing that this is going to be a common occurrence.
Oh please, spare me the gestury. We have a lot of fun together. Remember the last time we were in a room like this? Frickin' Cereza do that. God, my future dyslexic. Oh my god, jeez, couldn't you just write this in 2 sentences?
Yeah, I remember the last time you called me. The last time you needed me was when you wanted to read those long-ass comments that didn't matter in the long run. I was drained after that, you know.
Oh, come on. You did just fine. Besides, I think the input many people had under that video was fine. But, since you are here, I require your assistance once again. Me.
Hooray! Woohoo!
When will the final wave of the booster course come out?
It already did.
Excuse me, what? Greetings, my cherryful chariots. It's been a while since I covered Mario Kart content. I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible so that way I'm not missing out on the algorithm, or the, as you call it, the hype train, to be honest with you. Luckily for everyone but myself, I am someone who doesn't take too long to reach a conclusive and expert opinion. If you believe my opinion is expertise anyway. I am someone who has been playing the Mario Kart franchise since the DS. I like to think that I have the knowledge and experience to comment on these courses, or such matters. Speaking of the courses, Wave 6! Finally! It came out! I'm sure you and I waited for this very day ever since they first revealed Daisy Circuit back in the September Direct nearly 2 months ago. If you are familiar with how my rankings work, then I don't have to explain anything to you. But for those who aren't, allow me to explain. The way I do my rankings is based on my individual thoughts on each of the courses within the wave. Either it be via previous thoughts on the courses, how they were in their games of origin, or in other games they appeared in, and now in Mario Kart 8. How my gameplay experiences with the courses were, how lengthy the course is, and lastly, how much do I enjoy each of the course's music. This time around though, I thought of introducing a new metric. When I reveal a course in a specific spot, I will also reveal its original placement via my thoughts on the courses before they came out. So for example, let's say Athens Dash pre-release was number 5, then in post-release it is number 2. Of course though, it will be introduced by its post-release number first, just for convenience sake. Before we can get to the rankings, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, as not only will you be helping me in creating this content, but you will also be helping yourself by providing yourself with good serving of content. Cherry flavored, of course. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into my rankings for the final wave of the Booster Course Pass.
Wait, hold on. Wait a frickin' minute. This is not supposed to be here. You are supposed to show up at another time. Let's see here, let's look here. Aha, there you are. Alright, play the right file.
Despite having that Wii track quality that many of these Booster Course Pass courses tend to have, I'm left somewhat disappointed in Daisy Circuit being here. Out of all the courses in this wave, I believe that this one is the most out of place. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but comparable to everything else in this wave, it just leaves me to desire for something else. If the Nintendo devs really wanted to shoehorn a Wii course this much to replace Pipeline, then I think they should have gone with Dry Dry Ruins, or just, you know, not remove Pipeline. But at least that course has more to offer in terms of fun than Daisy Circuit does. But that is just my opinion. The visuals are fine in many areas. The sunset and the ocean look vibrant as ever. The statues look odd, but compared to where they're sourced from, yeah, I won't be complaining on that one. The music is peculiar. I don't hate it, but my god does it sound like elevator music. It's gonna put me to sleep eventually. It's good for when I want to vibe out and just watch the moon for a bit, but not for racing, especially when this is supposed to be the last wave of the booster course pass. Honestly, I don't think Daisy needed another course, and to be completely honest with you, out of all the Daisy courses that should have been in the game from the jump, I believe it should have been Daisy Hills. At least that one gets a spring in my step. Regardless though, it plays nice, looks nice-ish, and sounds relatively fine. But like other courses of its caliber, it simply left me feeling more to be desired. Yeah, if returning viewers have watched my other ranking courses videos, then you would know that I do not have any sort of soft spot for double dash courses. DK Mountain was no exception to this rule. Granted though, I think this is one of the best double dash courses that we've gotten thus far. It definitely got a deserving upgrade to HD. Then again, it was either this or Hell Inferno, and I think Nintendo chose very wisely on this one. Now, there are, of course, tracks from Double Dash that I do like, Dry Desert and Mushroom City being some. DK Mountain was never one of them. I never fancied it in Double Dash, never fancied it in Wii, but I will say this, I tolerate its existence in Mario Kart Deluxe. It's also really saying something when the worst course in my list is comparable to one of the best courses in other waves. It shows you the testament to quality that this wave has. Regardless of that though, the visuals look good, playing on it is alright, not the best, but it's manageable. The music is something that definitely got a definite upgrade, and like courses like Riverside Park, it actually made me have a nice appreciation for the music this time around, that otherwise wasn't there before. I still think the best GCN course that we got from the past was Waluigi Stadium, but DK Mountain is definitely in close second. The shortcut from GCN and Wii is no longer there. Sort of. The first section of the gap is covered off, but the section right after is close enough to make a jump and skip a portion of the turn. But the issue there is that it's a guaranteed wall hitter, so there's that for you. But let's see if you can guess what course might appear next. As unexpected as this course was to everyone minus a certain few that had to think outside the box, I don't mind this course being in Wave 6 at all. Sure, it kinda devalues 3DS Rainbow Road as it was meant to be the final 3DS course, making its conclusion just that more impactful, but oh well. This course supposedly replaces the GCN course that was going to occupy this spot, but thanks to Moonview Highway and its shenanigans, that GCN course got booted. And in case you haven't figured out what GCN course that was, well then you haven't been paying attention to much leaks then, have you? It's kind of dumb if you ask me, but oh well. I would have replaced it with a certain DS course because Retribution exists, but whatever, that's just me. Because of the course itself, visually it looks impressive, but usually most no-theme courses do look impressive. So unless your name starts with Sherbet and ends in and, then you are just practically perfect in my eyes. The music got a discernible upgrade for the better, as I really love the approach that they went for in this game. I always thought that the 3DS version was held back in some way, so I'm glad to see that we have a version that sounds as perfect as it can be. Certain areas of the track definitely play better than others. My oh my, sure I do love staring at this floor and not directly in front of me! The section from the loop into the half-pipe section feels a little weird in both 150 and 200cc if you ask me, as that always gives me interesting results. However, regardless of some of its shortcomings and my subjective thoughts on it, Rosalina's Ice World is definitely a really good course, and it's nice to see it in something that isn't a mobile game. Now we are really starting to get to the courses that I simply just adore, and unfortunately the course to start that off was Romavanti. Originally I had this course in the 4th place spot, but upon playing it a little more and really taking in everything, I eventually ended up placing it in the 5th place spot. Don't get me wrong, this course is absolutely breathtaking. From the night sky, to the building lights, to the beautiful city streets, to the Colosseum, and all the way down to the beautiful and elegantly composed music. I love the additions of the new obstacles like the fuzzies and the multi-moles with glasses. I wonder... The course itself is fun to drive through. However, I did find those occasional turns that were just not too normal to drive through, meaning that some of the turns in this course were very tight. But I believe that it is to be expected here, as the course is very closed in, which is a detail of the course that I really do like. In fact, barely any of the courses in the DLC that are city tracks feel compact at all, which I guess makes Roma-Vanti one of the more unique city courses alongside Athens Dash. In other words, Roma-Vanti is near perfect in my eyes. Just small things like some of the turns not flowing normally throughout some parts of the course, but that is a part of the course that I'm willing to forgive when the course is this spectacular in all its other fields. Half of my bloodline would be so proud and impressed by the mastery of Madrid Drive. Despite the name not giving the course justice, this course is one of the best city courses that the pass has to offer, alongside those like Roma-Vanti and Berlin Byways. The sights, the streets, the music, and the overall feel of Madrid Drive is something I haven't felt in a city course since Berlin Byways back in Wave 3. Something that I think that Madrid Drive does better than Rome is the feel and the music. Now, sure, it's not as much as an eye candy dream that Roma-Vanti is, but dear lord does it feel awesome and adventurous to drive through the city streets of Madrid. Driving through the museum, although pretty short, was so nice due to the music that accompanies that area, and the uniqueness that that area has. I mean, come on, how many courses can you say that a piranha plant is coming out of a painting? The area with the piranha plants looked good for what it is. The city market and the Plaza Mayor with the giant wiggler felt so cool to drive through. Granted, the one area at the end of lap 2 felt pretty bare, but like my criticisms with Roma-Vanti, it doesn't really bother me all too much. The water here is great as well, taking similar notes from Singapore Speedway. I'm not too much into the stadium, but I can admire how cool it is to drive through footballs being kicked around by Goombas in giant shoes. I felt alive when playing through Madrid, and that is why it's a tad bit better than Roma-Vanti in my opinion. But like many of my people always say, que sera, sera. This is now the second time that I've had to put a Rainbow Road in third place. But hear me out. If you are confused, go watch my Wave 3 video, then come back here. If you don't, I'll send my minions after you. Wee Rainbow Road. What is left to say really about it? It's the pinnacle of what a Rainbow Road is. I may not agree with that completely, but I can definitely understand and have always understood as to why many people say that Wii Rainbow Road is their favorite Rainbow Road. The experience is amazing. The nostalgia from the days of me playing modded Mario Kart Wii and even regular Mario Kart Wii flooded the second my character raced down the slope and tricked onto the path ahead. I'm not 100% sure about the checkered-ish floor pattern that the road goes for, but I don't mind it. It still looks pretty. One thing I'm not really a fan of is the coloring of the star tunnels that is used at the end of the course. As much as I prefer the lighting and the coloring that the original Wii version had, I would say the same about the star launch section, but I don't really have anything to complain about, considering that in that section it did keep some of the parts from the original. The music sounds strangely the same, yet also completely new, as it hits all the right notes to invoke that sense of end or nostalgia. The half pipes, akin to Mario Kart 8 fashion, feel wonky as ever-living hell, but you know what? That is what I love so much about them, because they end with some pretty hilarious results. One detail that the developers didn't have to do, but they did anyway, was the falling animation. In Mario Kart Wii, if you fall off Rainbow Road, you will basically have a falling animation where your character becomes a meteorite and fall to the planet Earth where you end civilization as we know it. In Mario Kart 8, instead of the regular falling off and having Lakitu pick you up as usual, it instead recreates your character going off in flames right before Lakitu comes and picks you back up, which to me is such a small yet wonderful detail, showing how much they cared about making this course as authentic to the original Wii version as possible. Honestly, it is one of the best send-off courses that this game could ever ask for, and I'm glad that it made its return as the final course of Wave 6, and of the Booster Course Pass. My Christ, I don't think I have ever fallen in love with a Nitro course in my life the way I have with Piranha Plant Cove. Okay, maybe that was a lie, but regardless though, Piranha Plant Cove blew my expectations out of the fucking ocean. It looks spectacular. In fact, it looks so good, it is one of the few courses in the entire BCP to have the closest art style to the base game. I adore the theming of this course. I already loved courses like Thwomp Ruins in the base game, so to see another Temple Ruins themed course is simply a spectacle to my eyes. It's funny for me that this track was one of the reasons why I stopped playing Mario Kart Tour, as around the time this track first released, the AI ranking boards was getting on my complete and utter nerves, and not because of a single mobile game, getting me to spend tremendous amounts of money and causing me to go into tremendous amounts of debt. No, well, we'll give you that impression. Anyway, the music remains sort of the same. I believe they added some instrumentation to this version, but it wasn't anything noticeable. The concept of the different lap per lap style that the city tracks use is now here, and I believe it is one of the best uses of it. Each lap takes you through a completely different area, and it's just amazing to drive through. Speaking of driving, the feeling of driving through the water like it's anti-gravity and driving on the surface level is great. I can't honestly tell you which part of the track is better, the sections outside of the water or the sections that are underneath it. There is a section of the third lap with the sunken pirate ship that looks so amazing. The lighting is just so beautiful. Don't get me started on the moray eels. I love driving alongside them, as it reminds me of actual divers swimming alongside dolphins, whales, or hell, even sharks. One thing I do wonder why they changed it was the area that had the clams in the tour version during the end of the first lap. Like most things I've said, however, I can live with it, it just feels pretty barren right now. But yes, Piranha Plant Cove is simply just amazing. It is by far one of my favorite courses in this wave, as well as the game itself. I have always enjoyed the 2D Bowser Castles. Except for you fuck! So when I saw that Bowser Castle 3 from Super Mario Kart was finally going to make its debut, not just in Tour, but in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe via the Booster Course Pass, there was a certain level of happiness I had not felt since I realized that Bowser Castle 4 had released with it back during the Bowser Tour. When I first saw this course for the first time only a few days ago, I was appalled and taken aback by how gorgeous it looked. It was simple, sure, but even some of the base game tracks stare at it in awe. I always had high expectations for this course, as I do for every other one, but Bowser Castle 3 was one of the courses of this bunch that met every single expectation that I had for it. To look stunning, check. To play amazingly, check. To have grand and epic music, check, and frickin' check. The layout of this course is so simple, yet they managed to do so much with it, and managed to make it one of the most action-packed courses in the entire pass. Similar to what they kinda did with Snowland, making different elevation changes throughout what seemingly is a very bland layout course. Skeleton piranha plants that I thought were removed are still there from Tour. Thwomps that have more detail on them than even in the base game. That freaking lava! The giant volcano and the giant ruins scattered throughout the course add so much richness and story to the course itself. It's sort of why I was okay with the treatment that Bowser Castle 4 got in Mario Kart Tour, as it felt like it was a continuation of the original rather than a straight up recreation. Back on topic though, I absolutely love the changes that the dev team made, from the split section at the beginning of the track and even to the walls that accompany it right after that. This interpretation feels even closer to the Bowser Castle from the original Super Mario World that not even the original could fully portray. When I think of an old-style Bowser Castle, this interpretation of Bowser's Castle 3 is what I think of. Hence, this is why at the end of the day, to me, Bowser Castle 3 is not only the best Bowser Castle in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but also one of the best courses in the entire game. And that's everything. I do hope you all enjoyed it. For those who are subscribers of mine and waiting for the next Castlevania upload, don't worry, it's soon on its way. But it's going to be one of those longer uploads, so I'm going to need some time. Regardless though, I'm excited to hear your thoughts on these courses, and maybe even one day I will rank all the courses in the Booster Course Pass. Maybe even review Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as a whole. We shall see. But remember, my name is Sarissa Valentine, and stay Cherryful. And no, they didn't bring back the sunset in Sunset Wild.